All right, today we're going to dive into the life of Ash Mufareh. And his story, it really makes you think. It argues that true success isn't just about making money. It's about living a life with a real solid purpose. So let's unpack what that actually looks like.
So before we even get into his career, let's kick things off with a big question, one that really frames his entire journey. What is the true measure of success? I mean, is it just about the money in the bank, or is there something more, something deeper going on?
Well, for Ash Mufareh, the answer to that question is crystal clear. He's convinced that success doesn't just happen by chance. Nope. He says it's built on a solid foundation of three things: having a purpose, working together as a team, and, maybe most importantly, integrity. And this idea, it pretty much becomes the blueprint for his entire life's work.
Okay, so it's one thing to have a philosophy, right? But how did he actually put these ideas into practice? Let's take a look at how this way of thinking shaped a pretty remarkable career, one he really built from the ground up, on principle. And you can see this philosophy in action on a huge scale. I mean, we're not talking about a small local shop here. He built massive global sales organizations. He led high-performing international teams. And, his goal wasn't just about getting financial freedom for himself, which, by the way, he did achieve pretty early on. His real passion was to help thousands of other people find their own path to business growth.
And it all circles back to this core motto he lives by: building people and prosperity with integrity. See, for him, it was never, ever just about the bottom line. The how was just as crucial as the what. How you got there mattered, and integrity, that was completely non-negotiable, period.
But here's the thing. For Mufareh, all that business success, that wasn't the end game, not even close. It was just the foundation for something way bigger, a global mission that went far, far beyond the walls of any boardroom. And this wasn't some idea he had later in life, like a late career pivot. We are talking about over 40 years of dedication to this. His commitment to global unity and prosperity, it's been a lifelong thing. That shows a kind of long-term vision that's frankly pretty rare to see.
So what does this mission actually look like when you get down to it? He's got a name for it: prosperity with purpose. The whole idea is that real, genuine global prosperity, it's not just about cash. It has to be built on a bedrock of honesty and compassion. And crucially, it's about empowering people with actual skills so they can build better lives, not just for themselves, but for their whole communities.
At its heart, his mission really zeroes in on a big problem he saw. So much of the business world is just driven by deceit and pure personal gain. So his solution? It's a total countermodel. It's built on honesty and real skill-based empowerment. Think about it. It's a huge shift from just taking value for yourself to actually creating value for everybody involved.
Now, you can't have a public mission this big without having a really strong personal foundation, right? It just wouldn't work. So let's dig into the core values that Ash Mufareh really lives and breathes every single day.
So it really comes down to three main pillars in his personal life. First, his deep faith, which acts as his moral compass, his guide for honesty, compassion, and just plain resilience. That's balanced by his total devotion to his family. He's a dedicated husband and a father. And both of those things are channeled into generous service, always putting others before his own personal gain. You see, that's the personal foundation that his public integrity is built on.
All right, so where does all this lead? What does it mean for the future? Let's talk about his legacy and the vision he's still building for the years ahead. See, his legacy isn't supposed to be just his story. The real mission, the ongoing part, is to inspire other people to walk a similar path. It's about proving that you absolutely can have ambitious business goals and blend them with a real, powerful moral purpose. The whole point is to create a ripple effect. If you had to boil his entire journey down to one simple but really profound idea, it's this: true prosperity begins with integrity and compassion. That one sentence, it totally challenges the old-school definition of success and offers up a much more fulfilling way to think about it.
So, that kind of leaves us with one final question. One that turns his story right back around to you. After seeing how a powerful purpose shaped his life, it really makes you think, doesn't it? What purpose is going to drive your prosperity?